Today I want to talk about the one addiction that nearly claimed my life, and that is crystal meth. I believe that I had started that addiction around late 15 to the age of 18, from what I remember, but by my count, it was about 2 years. Um, One of the craziest things for sure was I had put myself to the test to see how long I could stay up without going to sleep, and my record was close to 72 hours. I fell just shy of 3 days. So when I say no sleep, I'm talking about not even a nap, nothing, something crazy. Overall, my story doesn't include bouts of violence and all this other crazy stuff. I mean, I lived at home with my parents the whole time. I was going to high school. So after smoking weed for about however long, I thought I had grown a tolerance, and I thought that, other drugs were just some sort of extension of weed. Like, you're just going to get higher. And I thought it was going to be something manageable, but I still remember till this day I had sniffed a line, and I had gone upstairs, started playing on the computer. I was playing solitaire, and by the time I knew it, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just thought to myself, oh shit, all right. You stayed up a whole night. That was fun. And one of the earliest memories I have was just feeling really good, really happy, really light. I just couldn't stop smiling. And personally, one of my favorite parts of the high is just having my brain run a million miles per hour, which I claim that that's the case already, but to have my brain just put in an overdrive, it felt good because around that time I was coincidentally dabbling with philosophy, psychology, religion, just deep-rooted stuff that I really wanted to figure out, and spending all that time trying to do so, I got a lot covered. And I'll be honest, if it wasn't for that meth phase, I'm not sure how far along I would have been, whether it's spiritually or intellectually. I mean, that really jump-started everything, my curiosity. I mean, I wasn't really big on the normal school subjects anyway. History, math, etc. Grimy stuff. No, I mean, okay, so one of the worst things I did to support my addiction was I stole money from a source that even till this day I feel uncomfortable sharing. But okay, so I can say that it was from a family member. I can go that far. It's roughly in the amount of like $3,000, and the whole time that I was using meth, that's the source of money. If I ever happen to get that money again, maybe I'll return it to the person I stole it from, but that still weighs heavy on my heart. Um, for sure, I mean, going to school, shit. I used to have this hairstyle where I would just cover my whole face entirely, like a mask, and just go to school like that every day. This is roughly ninth, 10th grade, maybe towards the end of ninth grade, surely all through 10th grade. It's just a nightmare. I used to sit by myself for lunch and recess. People would come up to me and talk to me and stuff, but, I just kept to myself, very much so. And I don't know how, but what happened was, in high school, there's like a 3-story building, and all I did was peek over the rail or whatever it was that was preventing us from obviously falling off the top. And I remember a teacher had reported me. So that year I had to spend the last 3 days of the school year in the library. Suppose I was on suicide watch. I mean, I thought they were crazy, but hey, what do you know? They were somewhat right. In between this time of addiction, I remember another story was I had run out of meth. So I had found some pills, and I remember taking those. I didn't give a shit what it was. I didn't even know what it was. I just wanted to be high that day. Turns out I ended up overdosing, ended up in the hospital. During this meth time, I must have ended up in the hospital 2, 3 times. and one of them being just a flat out suicide attempt. Oh, you know what was another crazy story was I had come so far out of my own mind that I had walked upstairs to my parents' room. They were both in there. And I was hell-bent on convincing them to let me take my life. That was one of the funnier stories, right? That was one of the more crazy things I did. I had gone upstairs. I gave them like a 3 to 5 minute speech telling them how life is meaningless. They'll move on without me. Life goes on, etc. But, you know, I'm suffering and I need it to come to an end. That was quite embarrassing, but, you know, my mom actually had told me something that I didn't know before. And when she was pregnant with me, apparently she had a bad accident where like an 18-wheeler had crashed into her car, and how my life was a miracle. I was like, oh shit. I mean, no one really hit me up directly, but I looked like really freaking bad. So skinny, I wasn't eating. You know, my eyes just had crazy bags over them. It's insane, you know? When it came to friends, the only ones I had were ones that were using with me. Surely I had to burn the bridges. And one story that I'll never forget is I had decided that I was going to quit and decided that I had enough of this. So this inner circle of friends were coming over my house maybe like 2 years straight. And the day came where I was like, all right, well, this shit needs to come to an end. So I had gathered everyone in the living room and expressed that I didn't want anyone over anymore. And I'll never forget, but shit, on that day, I feel, this is just my perspective, if you were to talk to any of them, maybe it was a whole nother story, but shit, I thought they all banded up against me and just told me that I was crazy. I was brought to the point of tears that day. I don't know if they saw them or not, but I just couldn't believe that after 2 years of consistency, hanging out, coming to my house being the spot, you know, I felt like I asked for this favor just this one time. And, you know, it didn't play out that way. The only reason they ended up leaving was because my older brother had come out and had a more aggressive approach. But, you know, going back, I mean, at the time I disagreed with all those folks, but if I seen any of them today, yeah, I'll be nice to them. I have nothing against anybody is my point. So I don't hold it against them. We were all so young back then. Things were so different, right? It's so crazy because throughout that 2 years, I was so hell-bent on believing that life was meaningless and that life was only suffering, that nobody really cared. All I was focusing on was the hypocrisy of people's words to their actions and just how flawed and imperfect everybody really was. To me, it was a shock because growing up as a child, you know, everyone's trying to show you all these good things and take you to theme parks and only show you the good side. So finding out around that time, this discovery, in addition to being on a really bad drug, just a bad spot to be in mentally, no faith, no hope. Everyone around me was just some stupid ass drone, some sheep chasing the American dream where all you do is go to school, you go to work, and you work for the rest of your life just to get a house, and then by the time that's all over with, all you're gonna do is fucking die, and then your family just takes over your little possessions, your little properties, and that's it. In the end, at one point, this addiction had drove me to the point of suicide. I was just tired of crying. Shit, I was even tired of using meth. Like, everything was just... But I felt like I couldn't quit, you know? I felt stuck. Felt like a loser. I felt like all the damage that I had caused in my life, I just couldn't fix. I couldn't see any friends helping me. I couldn't see my family helping me. I couldn't save myself. Pure hopelessness. Fortunately, I mean, I'm here now, and it didn't pan out, but little by little, you know, just started cutting down. I had cut off from my source of picking up, and, well, basically, my friend, one of my old friends that I had hit up again, he basically saved my life. When I was ready to quit, he took me in. He fed me. He took me to play sports with him, and just all, little by little, he supported me. And I remember relapsing one time. I had quit for nearly a year, and my life just got so bad again that I relapsed. So I would say in about 18 months of trying to quit, I must have relapsed twice, but yeah.